And again, this is not a USPA approved paddle.
Yeah, that's not USA Pickleball approved.
Right. So bear that in mind. So if you're playing in like sanctioned tournaments, it is not approved. And I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that. I think Pete was okay with that. He was a big believer in making paddles for the people. He just wants to deliver a good paddle at a fair price. And I think he crushed it.
So what they're trying to do is, instead of paying the USAP Pickleball, they're trying to give that money back to the customers,
Yeah,
by lowering these prices. In other words, that's what I thought I got, you know.
All right, hey guys, back again, Don Siva with another paddle review, and today is actually going to be a fun day reviewing these two paddles here.
Yeah.
We got a chance to meet and talk with the owners of Crush Pickleball, Pete and Rachelle, so that was a great experience. I wish I could share the whole meeting with you guys. Great people, really friendly guys over there. But they sent us the Crush Covert, which is their new all-foam paddle, and then at the same time, Siva requested the Crush, what was that one? The Freestyle.
Freestyle.
It's like their Gen 2 paddle.
Yeah.
And Siva had this for the longest time now. No. You had the, which one before?
The third generation one.
Oh, you had the Gen 3
5G,
one.
yeah. They call it 5G Force.
I see, okay.
This
So
is Freestyle, that's 5G Force, and this is Crush. And then, you know, when I ordered the 5G paddle, 5G Force, you know, kind of came with this. I've never seen, they call it courtside kit, you know, for cuts and scrapes. So all it has, I think it has like Band-Aids, you know, sterile pads, Band-Aids, and alcohol pads and other stuff, antiseptic wipes.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, anything you would need courtside, you like took a tumble. So that's kind of cool. I think Pete mentioned they used to do like medical supplies shipping or something like that to like a lot of main big stores. So to have them come up with something like this for you to just easily put in your bag, you know, you get injured on the court, it's kind of cool. I've never seen anything like this. I don't know if they still do it now. I think they mentioned that they got out of that business. So again, you know, don't quote us on that. But this was from the original Core 4G back in the day when
5G. Yeah, it was like almost 5G. A year ago, or less than a year ago. Yeah, I mean, this is the first time I've ever seen a paddle company do that. All right, let's get into details. So, in terms of specs, I think this one is more like hybrid. It's 16.3 inches in length, 7.5 inches, no, 7.4 inches in width. The handle is kind of short, you know, 5.25. So, I mean, I'm not a two-handed person, so for me, it was okay. I think that this is a Gen 2, so it's full honeycomb. And then the surface is what they said, they weave the carbon 45 degree.
Yeah, they tilt the 45 degree angle on the surface there to give it even extra added spin.
Yeah. So the raw carbon surface, the grit is pretty good.
Grit is insane on these guys. I wish you guys could feel it. I don't know if you guys can hear it or see it, but that grit is no joke. And that's one of the things I think Pete mentioned during our meeting, that these things will last. Yeah.
And I think the specs of the Gen 4 one is your elongated 16.5, 7.5 inches. Again, the handle is kind of short too, 5.25 inches. And then I think 16 mm thickness. But the interesting thing I noticed, you know, in that paddle, and I'm sure Don agrees with me, is the surface area of this paddle is much higher, right? I mean, because the handle is short and you have a 16.5 inch length paddle, because the handle is short, you know, you have this big surface.
Right.
So it kind of, you know, the paddle is obviously pretty head heavy. So it kind of really affects your hand speed at the kitchen. You know, I felt it was heavy. But then when I looked at the specs, actually it's 7.8 ounces.
Yeah.
And the swing weight, twist weight are kind of low. I was like, it doesn't make sense. Then when we looked at the handle, you know, we kind of figured out because of the head heaviness, it kind of feels slow. Yeah. But going into review, what do you think about power? I mean, we can go one. Yeah. Power of that, like, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, power for the Crush, I mean, it's easily, you got plenty of put away power. Again, I don't think it's where it shines. It's not like a boomstick by any means. So you're not going to be hitting big serves. You're not going to be hitting like big baseline drives. I think where this paddle shines is the sick spin you get off these paddles.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, for sure, I agree. So when I compare this, obviously that has way more power. I would say that is mid-tier power. This is, you know, your typical Gen 2, you know. I mean, I kind of enjoyed going back to Gen 2 feel when I played with it, even though we have no Gen 3 and Gen 4. So if you're one of those who want the feel and the connect of Gen 2, where you know that like you're hitting the ball, I mean, this is the paddle to go to. This is one of the best Gen 2 paddles I've ever tried. Pop, I think this is, again, you know, your typical Gen 2, middle of the range. what about that? Like pop?
I mean, compared to the Cobra, again, I mean, the pop isn't like insane, but where it shines. I hate to beat this like a dead horse, but the spin is sick.
Yeah. I think they both have incredible amounts of spin. And I think I would say it's probably in the top tier. I mean, if you put, what do you have? Diadem Hush or Owl. When you buy a brand new Owl Talon or Owl, they have the insane amount of spin, right? But then they wear down pretty quick. Then you have your Hex Grade, Perma Grade, Diora Grade, those kind of things. After that, I think this is pretty, a touch below, but pretty comparable.
Oh yeah, for sure. And again, this is not a USPA approved paddle.
Yeah, that's not USA Pickleball approved.
Right. So bear that in mind. So if you're playing in like sanctioned tournaments, it is not approved. And I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that. I think Pete was okay with that. He was a big believer in making paddles for the people. He just wants to deliver a good paddle at a fair price. And I think he crushed it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think whenever we look at that now, this is a new perspective we learned that day. Whenever we look at, it's not USA Pickleball approved, it's illegal, right? No, I think a lot of small paddle companies right now, if you look at it, what they're trying to do is, obviously, whenever they need to send it for a USAP approval, I think each model, right, like a 16mm Gen 4 paddle costs $5,000 for a company to get approval.
Right, and this is each model.
Each model.
Yeah, so if you have 14, it's another fee they have to pay.
For a small business at a company, that is exorbitant amount of money, right? And they're releasing this paddle, they're getting the approval, they don't even know if it's going to be successful or not, especially in this crowded market.
Yeah.
So they don't want to take that risk at this, which I think, and then these paddles are all geared towards more recreational and amateur players, right? I mean, in our tournaments, like we don't really need a USAP approval unless it's like a PPA sponsored or something like that.
Right.
So that's where I think a small companies like this one or Packle Fuse, we did review, it's not USAP approved, but then they're bringing the paddle price down to $100, $120, which is way more affordable, like a Gen 4 paddle. So what they're trying to do is instead of paying the USAP Pickleball, they're trying to give that money back to the customers by lowering these prices. In other words, that's what I thought I got, And I mean, that's a very, pretty good idea, and I understand why they're doing it now, just from the business perspective too. If the paddle becomes super successful, if everybody likes it, then they'll go for the USAP approval because they have they can take the risk.
A little more traction, but in the beginning, it's a big gamble with not a lot of benefits. I don't think so.
Yeah, and I think out of comparison, like I asked Pete, how much was USAP charging before? Right, it was $1,000, and now it's 5,000. So it's 5x in the last 3-4 years because pickleball, as you know, is rapidly fastest growing sport in the world, right? And I think sweet spot, I mean, this one has huge sweet spot. I mean, there's no dead spot whatsoever. I like, as a Gen 2 paddle, it is pretty, the one I can think and compare of would be Mark.
Oh, the R2?
Mark 2 R2.
Uh-huh.
And then Pickle, the one Gabe Tardio used to play.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
So this one is definitely way better than both of those. If I'm comparing Gen 2 to Gen 2, right? Apples to apples. This one is way better than Pickle, what Gabe Tardio used to use, or even Tyra Black uses now, or the Mark, which was my go-to paddle a year ago or year and a half ago. Now I think that's EPP form. We have compared I think we have done a lot of reviews on Gen 4 paddles. Right? What do you compare that to, or what do you think?
I mean, I'm gonna put it up there. I mean, just because it's so budget friendly. I mean, with the discount code, you're getting close to like a $90 to $100 paddle at this point. I mean, you can't complain about that for an all-foam paddle with as much sick spin as this paddle delivers. I mean, I could put this up there, right alongside like the local. It might not have like the power like the local, but if you come from like a tennis background where you have big top spin, you like aggressive like roll dinks, dude, this thing is sick in that regards. Again, the price is just too good, and I truly believe it when Pete said his paddles is going to be durable. It's going to last you a long time. I think he was telling us a story. One of his players had his paddle for 2 years and going on.
This one,
it was that one, yeah. It was the Crush Freestyle.
I mean, I can just based on the construction looking at it, I think this is going to last forever. So I think, final impression in terms of who these paddles are. I mean, this one I would highly recommend this for beginners for sure. If you're one of those who are just starting the pickleball, you don't know which paddle to buy, you're those beginner to lower intermediates, definitely get this paddle because this has insane amount of sweet spot, great. Even if you have a miss hit, the ball is going to go back. So I feel like if you are just starting pickleball, you don't want to spend a lot of money buying $200-300 paddle, and also Gen 3, Gen 4 paddles, you need a little bit of training, how to handle that kind of pop power, etc. So you need to get your game leveled up before you could go there. So definitely beginners, consider this paddle. I love this paddle, man. I'll play with it today. You'll see. I love it. I mean, at the kitchen and all, I mean, there's no problem. I like the feel of the paddle. So I would say this is definitely their star. What do you think about that? Yeah. I mean, obviously he sent us for review purposes, right? Yeah. We don't need to, he didn't give us any inputs. He just said, all he asked was honest opinion. So yeah. I personally don't prefer that one just because of the head heaviness. Like I was explaining from the dimensions and specs before, I couldn't, I was okay at the baseline, but I was having hard time controlling at the kitchen in terms of, I was losing hands paddle because that felt head heavy. Now, obviously I don't have biceps like Don, so probably what's your experience that way?
I'm not nostalgic at all when it comes to paddles. I always like to try the newest stuff, the newest stuff that companies got. So Gen 2, I'm over it. I done sailed past that. So when I heard about Crush's new off-foam paddle, I was like, sign me up for the Covert. So like again, coming from tennis background, I like big drives, I like big serves. I'm a little bit more aggressive in my play style. So when you give me like this cool 45-degree angle with crazy amount of grip, it's right up my alley. And this thing, you have to see it. Even watching the footage of us playing with this, it's kind of hard to justify until you actually start hitting with it. And then you can kind of like, how much things can I do with a pickleball with this paddle? It's like, can I manipulate it this way? Can I add side spin? Can I add weird shaping, all sorts of spin? And it delivers. It's a fun paddle to use. So for any of you rec players that want to get into the all foam paddle world, I would highly recommend something like this to start you off with.
Yeah. Hopefully, if this paddle becomes, successful in terms of numbers, I think they will apply for USAP approval. I personally didn't see anything which will be illegal in this. Like it doesn't have like insane amount of power like Diadem Hush or, where obviously looking at those are Yola 3, where the rocket launcher. So it doesn't have any of that. And the reason why they didn't get USAP approval is purely because of the financials, and which we respect that. He was upfront. He told us all that information.
He really wants to keep the price down. So totally cool with that. Great guy.
But a company which is struggling to survive in this competitive market, right? If you put that paddle right for $200, who's gonna buy it? Right. Probably not much, because you have your Yolas, you have your Selker boomsticks, you have the Locos. So I think trying to get that price down is definitely going to make people attractive to these paddles. Yeah. I think that's our honest review on Crush Gen 4 Covert and Gen 2 Freestyle.
Here's shout out to Pete and Rachelle. Again, they're all about crushing life, crushing being a part of the community. So they're really fun-loving people when it comes to the sport. They really care to see it grow. So great people out there.
Yeah. So that's it, guys. This is Siva and Don from Pickleball RX signing off from our studios. Please let us know if you guys tried. I'm sure a lot of people tried this. If anybody tried Crush Covert, let us know in the comments what you guys think about it. Okay? All right. Have a good day.